Now that we've created this button and we've made sure that it's in its own layer and inserted it into the last keyframe in this scene, then it's time to make this button look and act more like a button. When you've encountered buttons online, normally what you see is that when you mouse over it, it changes in some way. So we're going to change what we call the states of the button, which allows it, again, to look and act more like a button. So in order to change the states, we just simply double-click the button. And what you'll notice is that everything else is grayed out, and the timeline has changed so that we have an up, over, down, and hit state, all at the top here. Now if you want to go back to the movie, all you have to do is simply click on scene 1 and that'll take us back to the movie. You'll notice that everything is back to the way that it looks normally. But when you want to go into that button edit mode, you just simply double click it. So what we want to do here is insert keyframes into the over and hit states. Today we're going to ignore the down states. We're just going to simply add keyframes to the over and the hit states. So go ahead into the frame and then control click so that the contextual menu pops up and hit insert keyframe. I'm going to do the same thing in this hit state. Insert keyframe. Alright, so we're going to pause here and allow you to do that. Once you've inserted the keyframes into the over and hit states, we're going to go in and change these. Now basically these are just the different states of the button. So the up state is when the button is in its just normal position, so it looks exactly the way that you drew it. The over state is the way that the button will look like when someone mouses over it, so it should change in some way when someone mouses over it, and again that encourages them to click it. And then finally the hit state is the active area of the button. So for instance, this button is a rectangle, so anything that is contained within this rectangle right here will be the actual button. So when it's clicked, it will activate the button. If I were to click outside that button, it's outside of the active state and the button will not react. So we're just going to change the over and the hit states now. We'll begin with changing the over state. What I'd like to do is change the size of this button. So what I'm going to do is take this free transform tool. I'm going to select that. Then I am going to hold down the shift and option keys. And what that'll allow me to do is constrain the proportions as I drag and make this bigger from the center. Alright, so I'm going to now use my selection tool to change the color of the rectangle. So I'm going to double click on this rectangle and you'll notice the text disappeared, and then just single click it once and you will see that you have the little dots that make up the image. We're going to go to the property inspector. Again, yours is going to be different. Your property inspector is going to be down here at the bottom of your stage. And we're going to change the fill color. So I'm going to make it a bright green. Now, to get back to what the button originally looked like, that was with the text, you're just simply going to click on the button state here. I'm going to click on Click Me, and now my text has reappeared. I'm going to use my text tool to simply go ahead and change the text color. Again, I'm using my properties inspector. Alright, and that is all I'm going to do for my overstate. So all I did was make it larger. I changed the background color of the rectangle and I changed the color of the text. So you're going to pause now and change the overstate of your button. So we're going to change the hit state and skip over the down state, which is just simply the way that the button will look when someone clicks on it. We're going to change the hit state slightly. We just want to make it a little bit larger than what it is. So right now this whole area is the active area of the button. We want to make it a little bit larger. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool and I'm just going to simply click and drag the rectangle over the button. And don't worry, this does not change the way that the button will appear at all. It just makes the area the active area a little bit bigger. So go ahead and pause the tutorial now and you can change the hit state. Well, now we've changed the states of the button. As you can see, the up state, the button looks normal, the over state we've changed, and the hit state we've changed. And again, that hit state, it's not going to change the way that the button looks at all. So now we're going to go back into the scene itself, and we'd like to check to see what this looks like. But before you can do that, you actually have to add some actions into the movie. One, we need to get the movie to stop at the end of the scene, and two, we need to add the behavior actions for the buttons so that it actually does something when it's clicked. So just so you see what it looks like now, we're going to go ahead to the control menu and test the movie out, and this is going to show you what the movie looks like so far. So here our two characters come in, the heart grows, goes to the female character, she says yay, they walk off the stage, the button will appear, as you can see, for a split second, and then it goes straight to scene 2. So what we'd like is that at the end of this scene, we'd like for it to stop so that people can actually click on the button. And there you can see it just was there for a split second. So we will move on to the next tutorials, which is going to be the actions tutorial, where you actually add a stop action so that it stops the movie when it hits at the right spot. So we're going to end this tutorial here, and you'll move on next to the actions tutorial.